is Space Explorer Zork, trying to learn everything he can about Earth people. And there he goes. He must have seen something he didn't understand. He's landing on the Earth. What did you see?
Well, I noticed something really interesting. I saw that Earth people can move their bodies all kinds of ways. They seem to be able to move almost any way they want to. So that's what I'm going to find out about. How Earth people's bodies move.
I see. And how are you going to learn about that?
Simple. I'll just change myself into the shape of an Earth person, like this. Now I'll be able to see how I move. Hey, what happened?
Well, you did look like an Earth person on the outside, but you were missing something important on the inside.
Earth people have things on the inside?
They sure do. Look inside an Earth person and see.
I'll use my Zork vision. Oh, what's that white thing?
That's called a skeleton. All Earth people have one. It's made of a hard material called bone.
What? Earth people look so soft. You mean they have a hard skeleton inside?
That's right.
Okay, I'll take the shape of an Earth person again, but this time with a skeleton. That was easy. Hey, I can't move. Now what's going on?
Let's look inside you. Ah, your skeleton is all one piece. Look at an Earth person's skeleton.
Oh, it's different. It's made of a lot of separate bones. Is that why the parts of it can move?
Exactly. The places where the bones fit together are called joints, like this one. Here's what it looks like up close. Most joints in Earth people's bodies let the bones move, like this one does. At each joint, bands called ligaments hold the ends of the bones together.
So they won't come apart when they move?
Correct.
All right. This time I'll give myself a skeleton with joints. Ready? Wait a minute. Maybe first I should take a closer look to see how the different joints work.
Good idea. I'll help you. See this girl touching her toes?
Yes?
Look inside. This is her backbone. It helps hold up the rest of her body.
But it bends, too. Oh, I see why. It's really made of a lot of little bones.
Those bones are called vertebrae. Earth people can feel their vertebrae by feeling those little bumps going down their backs. The joints between this girl's vertebrae allow her backbone to bend and twist in different directions. Joints in an Earth person's skeleton let a person move some ways, but not other ways. For instance, some joints here at the top of her backbone let this girl's head move up and down and from side to side, but not all the way around.
You mean Earth people can't do this?
No, they can't.
Now the girl is moving a different way.
Yes, she's moving her jawbone. Joints here and on the other side of her head let her do that.
Okay, I see how those joints work. But what about arms? I can move my arms any way I want to. I'll bet Earth people's arms can't do this.
No, they can't. But you'd be surprised at the movements they can make.
Like what?
Well, see this joint here? It lets an Earth person's arm move around in almost any direction. And see this joint?
That one only bends this way, doesn't it?
Yes. Now watch what these two joints can do when they work together.
Oh, I see. He can move his hand just about anywhere. But I noticed something strange. There are two bones in this part of his arm, and only one bone here.
Right. These two bones are attached in a special way here, and that lets Earth people turn their hands like this. And Another joint here lets hands turn this way.
Earth people sure do have a lot of joints in their arms that let them move their hands different ways. Their hands must really be important.
They certainly are. Look at how a hand works. These joints let the fingers bend this way so they can wrap around something.
My hands can do that too.
But an Earth person's hand is different from yours. The really special part of an Earth person's hand is the thumb. It bends the other way.
Oh, so an Earth person's fingers and thumb can go on two different sides of something.
Yes, that makes it especially easy for people to hold things and also to make small, careful movements like they do when they write or when they build something.
And I can see that the joints in legs work pretty much like the joints in arms. Except, of course, legs have to be stronger to hold up the rest of the body.
That's right. The joints that attach people's legs to the rest of their bodies are something like shoulder joints. Knees are a little like elbows. And ankles and feet are something like wrists and hands.
So Earth people have many joints that let them move in a lot of different ways. And different joints can work together to let them make even more kinds of movements.
Exactly.
Now, I guess I'm ready to give myself a skeleton with all the right joints, so I can move like an Earth person does. Hey, what's going on? I can't move at all.
That's because the bones in skeletons don't move all by themselves. They need something else to make them move.
Like little motors?
No, not motors. Use your Zork vision to look under this girl's skin.
Hey, what are they?
Muscles.
Muscles? How do they work?
Any muscle can do only one thing, and that is pull itself together so it gets shorter and fatter.
Like this?
Exactly. At the ends of a muscle are these bands called tendons, and they usually attach the muscle to different bones. You can see how this works if you look at just one muscle in this girl's arm. It's attached here and here.
With this joint in between.
Yes. When the muscle shortens, it pulls this bone up, making the girl's forearm move up. When that muscle relaxes, another muscle may pull and move her forearm in a different direction. And if both muscles pull a little at the same time, they can hold her forearm tightly in one position.
So muscles can hold bones still or make bones move.
Yes, except for a few muscles that make something else move. Some muscles, for instance, are attached to the soft parts of people's faces, and when they pull, the person changes expression.
Okay, I see how muscles work. But why do some Earth people look like this? Do they have more muscles than other people?
No, all people have exactly the same number of muscles. But some people get more of certain kinds of exercise than other people, and that makes their muscles thicker and stronger.
All right, I understand. I'll change my shape again, and this time I'll give myself a skeleton with all the right joints and muscles. Hey, it worked! Now I can move just like an Earth person. And now I know how they do it. Earth people sure do have wonderful bodies. Maybe I'll just stay like this for a while. Bye.
Wonder Cat.
I wonder, what's the brightest star in the sky?
What is the brightest star in the sky? If you're curious enough, you can find out. Look over there. Are those stars? They seem to be getting brighter and brighter.
And brighter! Oh, they're not stars at all. They're airplane lights. They look even brighter than the stars. But that must be because I'm closer to them than I am to the stars. But there's a bright star. That looks like the brightest star in the sky.
It does, but it doesn't twinkle like the stars do. That's because it's not a star, it's a planet. It's the planet Venus, part of our solar system. You need a telescope to see that it's not really a star. It's bright because the clouds all around it are lit up by the light of the sun. But it's so far away that it looks like a star. But it's not as far away as the stars are. The brightest objects in the night sky aren't stars at all. The moon, for instance, isn't a star. It's lit up by the light of the sun, too. That's why it's so bright. It doesn't give off any light of its own. When the astronauts were there, the sun lit them, just the same as it lit up the moon. Even the Earth is bright when the astronauts see it from space because it's lit up by the light of the sun. The moon and the Earth and the other planets are lit by the sun. But the sun is a star, and the stars are bright because they're hot enough to give off their own light.
But I still wonder, what's the brightest star in the sky?
You won't have to wonder long. The brightest star in the sky is on its way. It may not be the brightest star in the whole universe, but it's the brightest star to us on Earth because it's our nearest star.
Is it the sun? Is the sun a star?
That's right. The sun is a star. It's so bright, it makes the whole sky bright.
But where are the other stars now?
The sun makes the sky so bright, you can't see the other stars when the sun is shining. It's so bright, you should never look directly at it.
If I put my sunglasses on, I can look at it.
No, even with sunglasses on, you should never look directly at the sun. Scientists who work here know that. This is a place where astronomers study the sun, a solar observatory. Astronomers don't look at the sun directly when they study it. They use mirrors that reflect the light of the sun and let them look at its image instead of at the sun itself. The sun's light is reflected down a long tunnel into the place where the astronomers work. And even then, they wear very dark glasses to protect their eyes, even though the image they look at isn't nearly as bright as the sun itself. The bright sun lights our world and keeps it warm in the daytime. Even when it's cloudy or at night or when you can't see it, we still get its warmth because the sun is shining on the earth all the time.
If the sun's always out there shining, how does it get to be night?
Well, if we make these shadows move a lot faster than they usually do, maybe you'll be able to figure it out yourself.
Hey, clouds are making those shadows. In the sunlight, things are bright. But in a cloud shadow, things are darker. There's less light. keeps some of the sun's light from shining through. But the cloud's moving. And in the place where the shadow was, things are brighter and warmer again. Now the sun is shining here again. So now I know that shadows are places where the sun's light is blocked. But I still don't know what they have to do with day and night.
You will. Just remember, whenever you see a shadow, you can always be sure that something is blocking some light.
I just noticed something else. A thing that makes a shadow has a bright side and a dark side.
And the dark side of the tree is part of the shadow. Remember, anytime something blocks the light, we get a shadow. You said that yourself. Sunlight shines on this part of the tree, but the sunlight can't get through the tree to the ground. Where the sunlight doesn't come through, we say it's a shadow. But the front of the tree also blocks the light from the back of the tree. The back of the tree is in the shadow of the tree, too.
Sure, I see. Whenever a part of something is in the sunlight, another part of it is in its own shadow. Like my head now. One of my eyes is in the sunlight. The other eye is in the shade.
But you're not looking at the sun. Good.
I can just turn my head, and now both of my eyes are in the shadow my head makes. In the shadow, out of the shadow, just by turning my head.
And do you know what else turns?
What?
The world. It turns around and around in space. As the Earth turns, everything on the Earth, you for instance, turns with it. When the Earth turns and you go into its shadow, then it's night where you are. And then when you come out of the shadow, it's daytime where you are.
Now I see why knowing about shadows helps me understand why we have day and night.
I thought you'd see. So when the sun seems to be setting, it's not really moving at all. It's the Earth that's moving. Our part of the world is moving into the Earth's shadow as it turns away from the sun. Night is coming.
Nighttime is the time for me to rest. But now I know that the sun is the brightest star in the sky. And I'll have a lot more to wonder about tomorrow when the turning Earth moves me into the sunlight again. I wonder.
What do you wonder, Wonder Cat?
I wonder, why don't I fall up?
Why don't you fall up? Well, if you're curious enough, you can find out. Just to get started, let's agree on which way is up.
That's easy. That way is up. That bird is flying up. And that plane, it's going up too.
So up is...
That way. You know, away from the ground.
Or you could say away from the earth, right?
Right.
And down. Which way is that?
Down. That's toward the ground. Toward the earth, right?
Right. So when you say that something falls or moves up or down, you're really describing the direction it's moving.
That's right. Toward or away from the earth. But I still don't know why I fall down instead of up.
Well, look around. Look at the things that move and see if you find some clues as to why those things move in one direction instead of in the opposite direction.
Well, I'm looking at things that are moving, but I haven't found any clues yet. Hey, look at that ball. It isn't moving at all.
Well, keep on looking and maybe you'll find out why.
Oh, I see why the ball isn't moving. It's in the middle of a rope that both sides are pulling on in a tug of war. It looks like one side is pulling just as hard as the other side is.
What do you think would have to happen for the ball to move?
One side would have to start pulling harder. And I think that's what's going to happen now.
But when the ball moves, which way will it move?
Toward the side that's pulling harder.
Yes, things start to move when they are pulled or pushed in one direction harder than in another.
So I guess I understand the reason I fall down and don't fall up. There must be something pulling me down toward the ground. And it must be something that pulls me down harder than anything that pulls or pushes me up.
Very good.
But I wonder...
What do you wonder, Wonder Cat?
I wonder, what is it that's pulling me down? I know what was pulling on the ball in the tug of war. When one team pulled harder than the other team did, the ball moved. It moved in the direction of the harder pull. But what pulls things that makes them fall down?
Well, remember, things fall toward the earth.
Does that mean that the earth pulls things down?
That's right. And we give a name to the pull of the earth. We call it gravity.
Gravity. I'll try to remember that word. But I wonder, I could see the hands of the people pulling on the rope and moving the ball, but I don't think I've ever seen the earth pulling on anything.
That's because the earth can pull on things without touching them. You can't see gravity, but you can see things move because gravity pulls them toward the earth. Gravity is pulling you too, right now.
But I'm not falling. Why?
Remember why the ball didn't move at first in the tug of war?
Well, both sides were pulling on the rope, but one pull wasn't stronger than the other. Say, since I know that gravity is pulling me down, but I'm not moving, something else must be pulling me up just as hard, right?
Yes, but not pulling, pushing up on you. In order for the branch to hold you up, it has to push you up, just as hard as gravity is pulling you down. If it didn't...
I'd fall down. I see what you mean. The small branches on a tree aren't very strong. That bird should be careful.
Well, gravity doesn't pull down as hard on that bird as it pulls down on you.
It doesn't? How hard does it pull down on us?
Well, you can find out. With that scale, can you make the pointer move?
Sure. I just have to pull down on it like this. See? And the harder I pull, the farther the pointer moves.
Stop pulling. Now get on the scale. What's happening?
Well, now my whole body is pulling the scale down. Or is it gravity that's pulling me down?
That's what it is. Good thinking. And see where the pointer is?
At 6 pounds. Hey, that's what I weigh. Well, sure, this is a scale. But does that mean my weight tells me how hard gravity is pulling me down towards the Earth?
Yes, that's right. We say that gravity is pulling you down with a force of 6 pounds. Now, let's weigh the bird.
Okay. Wow, that little bird doesn't even weigh 1 pound. That means that gravity is pulling down on the bird a lot less than it is on me. I mean, with a lot less force, just like you said. Is that why a bird can go up and I can't? Because gravity pulls down on me more than it pulls down on the bird?
Well, no. You see, all that matters is whether the push up on a bird is stronger than the pull down. When a bird's wings give it a strong enough push up, it can fly. The force of the wings pushing a bird up is greater than the force of gravity pulling it down. An airplane can go up for the same reason. Its wings and engine give it a push up that is greater than the force of gravity pulling it down. The push up always has to be more than the pull down for something to go up into the air.
So that's how I make a ball go up. Every time I throw it up, I'm giving it a push up that's stronger than the pull down gravity is giving it. The ball just goes up a way, and then it comes back down again. The harder I throw it, the higher up it goes. But it always slows down as it goes up. Then it stops and starts coming down again. Earth's gravity has pulled the ball back to Earth. But I wonder, why don't things we send into space fall back to Earth?
That's because the burning rocket fuel keeps pushing the rocket upwards. It keeps going up and up until it's in space and keeps on traveling away from the Earth.
Does the Earth's gravity still pull on things when they're in space?
Yes, but as a space vehicle keeps going farther and farther away from Earth, Earth's gravity pulls less and less on it. If a space vehicle gets close enough to something big in space, like the moon, then the moon's gravity will pull on it. When the moon's gravity pulls harder on it than the Earth's gravity does, then down becomes
the direction toward the moon. Is that right?
That's right. And if you landed on the moon, you'd find that its gravity doesn't pull on you as hard as Earth's gravity does.
So I'd weigh less there.
That's right.
And does that mean I could jump higher?
That's right.
And I wouldn't come down so fast? Or so hard?
That's right.
That would be nice, since now I understand why I can never fall up, even on the moon.